Every hobby has a grail, whether you're collecting fragrances or watches or cars or tools or anything in between. We all have that one item that we're just constantly searching for. You know, we're always trying to progress to that next level in our hobby, and there's always that perfect thing that we know is out there, but we're just trying to find it. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be based on cost or anything like that. You know, yeah, if you're into cars, you may be thinking, yeah, I want to own a Lamborghini one day, or I want to own a Paddock someday, or I want to own this or that, or a $10 million mansion if you're into real estate, right? And that is one way to go if you're looking at the monetary standpoint. But when it comes to fragrances, for me, it's never really been about trying to own the most expensive thing. I have a lot of incredibly expensive fragrances to the point where they're completely ridiculous and stupid. But what I'm more talking about here is those nostalgic fragrances. The type of scents where when I smell it, it makes me feel a certain type of way. Just a very, very familiar way. And it kind of sounds weird, but when you've kind of discovered those fragrances for yourself, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's almost like you smell it and it clicks with you immediately, and you almost feel like that scent was made for you for one reason or another. It sounds crazy, it sounds weird, but I promise you, once you've discovered fragrances like that, you're going to be hooked and you're going to realize just how special this hobby really can be. And so you'll look at this list. I've got 7 here. Only one of them is a niche product, and even this niche product isn't super crazy expensive. You can get it discounted. It's not terrible. But we're looking at things here that just make me feel fantastic. And they're scents that just resonate with me so well. So I will provide links to these down below to discounters. I want to jump right into it. Right off the bat, I want to go with L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. Cherry, almond, and vanilla are going to be some of the main notes here in this one. And man, fantastic. What I love about this is it's going to be utilizing some sweeter notes in here. However, it still maintains this upscale and mature masculine base foundation. And you don't always get that when you go with fragrances that are going to be in the sweeter category. And so that's one reason why I gravitate towards this one so much, is in the fall and winter time when I want to wear fragrances that are going to be more appropriate for that season, but I want something that's going to be more, I don't know, upscale and more reserved and more classy smelling. I can go for this versus going for your typical traditional sweeter fragrance, which is always going to have a little bit more of a playful smell to it just by nature. I think this stuff smells amazing. It's very distinct. When you've smelled this fragrance or this DNA, you will remember it forever and you will always pick up on it. And I'm talking the EDT, I'm talking the EDP, even the Extreme, the Cologne version, the Cool version, all of the ones that carry over and still kind of have some of that almond DNA. You pick up on it and it's really quite incredible. Next fragrance, I actually have this one sprayed on my hand right now. And man, I just have no words. John Varvatos Dark Rebel Rider. I still remember the hype surrounding this one, and I remember being a young, just a young kid and kind of just starting out in this hobby, and I had zero money, and I'm like, I want to try that fragrance, but I couldn't afford it. And it took years for me to finally be able to pick this one up. It's not even all that expensive. It's just at the time I just didn't have the disposable income to be buying a bunch of, ridiculous fragrances, and I had to prioritize which ones I wanted to buy. And so I'm like, man, if I'm going to be putting my money into something, I should put it into the fresher ones. It's going to be more versatile, right? Going to be safer blind buys. And that was probably the smart move. But little did I know this would become one of my favorites of all time. And just in general, I have a tremendous amount of respect for the house or the brand, the designer of John Varvatos. They've been through a lot, it seems like. Went bankrupt, still releasing fragrances. I don't know what exactly is going on there. But they have been able to create some game-changing scents. These have great quality and great price. The only kind of downside that all of these have had has been the performance. Now this one here doesn't do too bad, it's a 6-hour scent or whatever, not terrible, but people would like a bit more out of it, and I understand that. It's got leather, resins, iris, cacao, cedarwood, olibanum, a ton of notes. I mean, there's a lot going on in here, but those ones there are kind of what I get the most out of. But it's such a photorealistic leather scent. just smells fantastic. This is very mysterious. It's a little bit smoky. You get the cedar wood in here, which is very dry. Now, the cedar wood itself is dry, but there's so much more going on that the whole scent itself isn't. It's just kind of, you know, if you've smelled Gucci Pour Homme 1, Bentley for Men Absolute, that type of cedar wood accord, you get that in the base of here. You can smell it underneath the resins and the sweetness. This is a fragrance with layers and depth. Now, it has gone up in price because the availability on this isn't looking so great. I'm not really sure. Very well may be discontinued, which is a big bummer. So I know for me, as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to go buy myself a backup bottle. But as you can see, like, they didn't cheap out on us here. You can pull the bottle out. Look, it's just straight up glass. You get a leather pouch here that zips up for real. It's just details like this that we're really not getting from designer brands anymore. Even a lot of niche brands don't do cool stuff like this. Yeah, they may give you a cool box. Who cares? I throw the boxes away, even the Killians and stuff. But this type of thing here is cool. This fragrance is amazing. It's a grail for me. I'm glad I have a 125 ml. I'm definitely going to go pick up some backups of the smaller size because that's really all that's available now. Just a pure masterpiece. We'll keep this one rolling here. I'm going to try to pick it up just a little bit. We have Armani Code, Absolute, Vanilla, Tonka Bean, Suede, and Orange are going to be some of the main notes here in this one. We are not wanting to focus today. That's all right, though. We'll get it this time. Yeah, always works on the second try. This is a love at first sniff for me. Smells amazing. And this is kind of what I think of, like when I was talking about the Guerlain, wanting a wintertime sweeter scent that has class and maturity. This really doesn't. So, you know, a lot of this type of thing goes on out there in the fragrance world for guys, right? Just sweeter fragrances, and they're always going to be a little bit more playful and young and just that sort of thing. A little bit more carefree. This doesn't smell like you're trying to get down to business and close a deal or something like the Guerlain does. And there's definitely a time and place for this. There's a time and place for the Guerlain and other fragrances like that. And I do, you know, really respect all these different varieties. But this one here, when it comes to a little bit more of a sweet, playful, carefree wintertime scent that smells great. It's a nice one to snuggle up with and just enjoy when it's super cold outside. Maybe you're snowed in or something. It's just one of those fragrances that just really is comforting. Smells great, especially around the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. And again, as soon as I smelled this one, I knew it was something special. And speaking of Killian, we have Killian Paris, Straight to Heaven. I love the brand. Love it so much. I love the presentation. The bottles are simplistic, has the little shield on the side, nice plaque. I like that. The boxes are great. Do I really throw all of them away? I save a couple, but when you buy basically all of the Killians, you don't really need that many boxes anymore. I've got like 1 or 2 coffrettes. I have gotten many more that I just end up not really keeping around. You know, it's just that type of thing. It just is what it is. Didn't want to, you know, people are probably going to get mad. Oh, you're disrespecting the brand. No, I bought all of these fragrances. The only ones that they sent me actually were a couple of these right here. All of the expensive ones, you know, in this bottle size, I purchased. In fact, just to show you, I recently picked up off of eBay Royal Leather. I paid a fortune for this. Came from overseas. I didn't even think I was going to get it, but I still bought it. Yeah, this kind of just showed up. Great leather scent. You know, it smells amazing. Love the brand, and I believe in the brand. That's why I spent a ridiculous amount of money to buy this exclusive edition here that I'm probably not even going to wear. So yeah, love the brand, and Straight to Heaven has been kind of a game changer for me. I don't want to say it changed my life because that's obviously a load of crap, right? No fragrance has changed my life really per se, but this one has definitely really given me a completely different outlook on fragrances and my taste, and it is just one of the absolute best boozy fragrances you can buy on the market. It's got cedar wood, patchouli, and rum, and to me it's divine. Killian himself even said that this is kind of his favorite. You know, everyone has, what did he say? He said, you know, it's hard to choose a favorite kid, but there's always that one that went to Harvard. And this is the one that went to Harvard, according to him, and definitely to me as well. true masterpiece. I've got the extreme version. I've got the Oud and Musk special blend. Had to pay a fortune for those too because a lot of these kind of are exclusive. And I just think this stuff here is just absolutely breathtaking. Dior Own Parfum. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because it's hard to get. But, you know, when it comes to my holy grails, I had to put it in here because it would be unfair not to. This is a tester. It does come with the cap. If you ever have a chance to buy Dior Own Parfum, do it without hesitation. Even if you buy it and you spend whatever amount of money on it, $100, $150, whatever, who knows really what you're going to be spending for it. If you don't like it, you can resell it for more. I don't care how much you paid for it, you can resell it for more. Trust me, there will be a buyer for it. I might even be one of those buyers. I love this stuff to death. And so in that regard, being able to always get your investment back and honestly be able to make money on top of it is a great way to go. And it's a lot easier to kind of get yourself to get into this because samples are going to be expensive because it's so rare. Just if a bottle ever shows up, you just got to pull the trigger, and it will be on my community tab. It's got leather, a little bit of rose and oud, a lot of iris in here, of course. Chocolatey, sweet, rich, and strong. One of the best designer fragrances ever made, period. Gentleman Reserve Privé Eau de Parfum by Givenchy. It's got whiskey, chestnut, and iris. So back-to-back iris. Quite different though. This one's much more designer level, much more mass pleasing, much more likable overall, and readily available everywhere. Retailers, most discounters, not all, but most, it's kind of starting to trickle in. So you can pick this one up. And I highly recommend you do so. If you like the main three, and by that I'm talking Gentleman Eau de Parfum, you know, by Givenchy, Dior Homme Intense, not talking about the Parfum here, that's next level, and Valentino Uomo Intense. If you like those three, you're basically guaranteed to like this one, and it's got a boozy touch that none of those other ones have, and that makes it really special. This, to me, was a flanker that was just a complete home run. I'm so happy this exists. If they ever discontinued this one, if there's ever word of that, I would literally buy like 10 bottles of it. Not really 10, but probably 5, because this, to me, is like maximum level of beast mode sexy flanker achieved right here in this one. I'm going to end this with a fragrance that's easy to forget about. It's Hugo Boss Bottled Oud. It's got apple, cinnamon, and a nice designer level oud accord in here. And it is awesome. So you get that cinnamon apple smell, the kind of apple pie. It's very creamy, and even after this hasn't been sprayed for weeks or months at a time and you pull the cap, you can still smell kind of that apple pie, spicy, sweet, gourmand smell. It really is nice. And the oud in here is super subtle. It's very laid back and very wearable, very approachable. It would be a great designer level oud to start out with if you're looking for a nice kind of gourmand fall scent that falls in line with the Boss Bottle DNA. You want a touch of oud to make it a little bit different. This is a great one to check out. I think this stuff is amazing. It's one of my favorite flankers. This and Boss Bottled Absolute, two amazing ones to have because you can get them for the most part. Bottled Intense, of course, is top tier, but they don't make that anymore. Highly recommend you grab a bottle of this one. Came out in 2015. I don't know if they plan on keeping this around forever or not, but it's definitely worth checking out. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 7 of my personal holy grail fragrances. These have just clicked with me in one way or another and are truly special to me in their own way. And I just couldn't be happier with them. I will provide links to these down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.